My long distance relationship was a big hoax with unbelievable details.
Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started.
My long distance relationship was a big hoax with unbelievable details. I, 29 female, live in Canada in late September 2018. I matched with this guy, 30 male, on a dating site. His profile said he had been living in the US for 7 years and that he is now moving to Canada as PR, but while the processing is being done, he is in India living with his parents for a few months. We're both ethnically Indian. We click instantly, talk for hours at length, and after a few weeks, get into this long distance relationship, deciding to be together once he moved to Canada. It was a big gamble since we had never met, but I went with intuition and trusted him to be a good person. I was lonely, reeling from a bad breakup. He seemed trustworthy from the details he shared. And since it was long distance, how bad could it be? He was very committed and mature, and we developed strong feelings for each other, exchanged I love yous, and decided we might at some point explore the prospect of a lifelong relationship. Of course, meeting and figure things out first. We also decided to move in together right as he moves to Canada end of December. We had a few obvious differences, like I was vegetarian and he wasn't, and I was close to my parents and cared about their approval for my marriage. He didn't. He was an impulsive hedonist. I am more stable minded, patient, and diligent. Regardless, we would talk for hours about finding middle ground about our dietary habits. He claimed to be a good cook and looked up veg recipes constantly, suggested he'd try his best to be considerate and accommodating. He was a committed, devoted boyfriend who put in time and effort even from that distance and time difference, constantly assuring me that he loved me so much it hurt. He was very appreciative with my high education and perfect resume and kept talking about how he would like to buy a house with me in the future and travel a lot when I finished my PhD and started earning back out of cash. He would talk about a few his exes. He had slept with a lot of women, but rationalized it to moving a lot and being lonely. Most of them Caucasian. The latest one big, let's call her Jenna, who claimed he dated for 6 months and broke up with before he moved to India in May. Although they remained friends and she even visited him for a Himalayan trek and trip to India. He claimed they were platonic. He said would have stayed with her, but she was a nightmare of a family fit and wouldn't have worked out. His parents disapproved of her since she wasn't Indian, was taller than him, and loads of tattoos, and wasn't very highly educated. Although he didn't seem to mind any of that, or care much about his parents' opinions of her. Regardless, he assured me she was out of the picture, saying him and Jenna also briefly talked about her moving to Canada to do her master's, but quickly decided against it. I didn't think much of it. Fast forward, he moves to Canada December 27th and lives with me. We have a great first 8 days just staying in, being sexually intimate. He said he loves what we share and would like to marry me if I would convince my parents. I was skeptical but entertained the idea. All along, he kept treating me like I was his wife. I discouraged him from doing that, making future plans, finding middle grounds. I helped him unpack, put his stuff in my drawers, and got all his moving logistics in order. On January 4th, Thursday morning, he leaves to go to stay at my aunt's place until Sunday afternoon. Since she doesn't know about you and thinks I'm new in town and don't know anyone, he had told me about this a month beforehand. I thought it was odd, but I let him have his privacy anyway. I had been noticing a few other things meanwhile that kind of put me on alert, like him quietly looking at his phone every now and then and tagging his ex in a meme where she responded with a kiss emoji. Friday evening, I was putting his stuff away and doing our laundry when I saw his backpack open with a folder in it. The folder had a whole bunch of homemade cards and letters from Jenna, most of them dated. Some of the dates confused me because they were all of late May, late October, etc. Again, he had told me they broke up early May and we had been dating since September. A few other things she wrote on the cards slash letters were that they had been video chatting, same time as I was video chatting with him also, and that she can't wait to move to Canada with him and marry him and start their Canadian life together. A birthday letter dated May 23rd saying, I'm not with you today, but thankfully we plan to spend the rest of your birthdays together. A collection of drawing capturing her trip to India, including a ring. This was distressing. I looked her up on Facebook and her check and said she is in Canada the same weekend while he was at his aunt's place. It was her birthday. I called him right away, asked him if he was with his ex. He said, No, baby, it's just a coincidence. I had no idea. Trust me, don't think much of it. I love you. Then said he couldn't talk more because he was at dinner with his aunt and uncle. I texted him that I sense he's not telling me something that I'd like a picture of where he was right now. He didn't reply to me until the next morning at 6. Let's talk on Sunday when I come back. I hate drama, babe, and I can't have you all work up the moment I leave home. I said, okay, I'll give you your space. I called two of my closest friends. They told me it was fishy. Sunday afternoon, one of them stalked Jenna's Instagram with a fake account, and we found pictures of the two of them together hiking at an Airbnb. She had posted all pictures through the year, including their 1 year anniversary in October 21. I distinctly remember one of our texts on that exact day saying that he's falling for me really hard. We had exchanged I love yous the following week from one of the pictures dated late August. It seemed like he had proposed to her that night. More picture from their Himalayan trip early August. They had been in the same tent, obviously slept together. Sunday afternoon, when he was supposed to come back, I summoned both my friends who hid in my bedroom. He came, I confronted him, not revealing everything at once. He lied consistently, making up more and more things to cover what I was asking him. Jenna's aunt had died, so she visited Canada. I had dinner with her after he told me she was in town, but I didn't sleep with her. She wanted my attention, so she made that post on Facebook. I asked him to cut the BS and tell me the truth. Why did he lie to me and to that poor clueless woman? I wanted closure. She kinda likes me still, but we have all these differences. She wanted to try things out. Did you ever love me? I asked. What I have done to deserve this? Yes, of course I did. I told you I was looking for a wife. You were the kind of woman I was looking for. I asked why he lied to me. He said, I guess there's no point of this conversation anymore. Clearly you won't believe me even if I don't do it again. You won't believe me. I'm gonna pack my shit and get out of here. I told him to get fuck out of my house, that he was a horrible person and I hope he never finds happiness. He said he knows he's been horrible. He didn't mean to hurt me. But because of his callous behavior he kept lying about not having had sex with her that weekend. He packed in shame with me and my friend standing over him. He tried to mumble some parting words, but I told him to just get the fuck out and away from me. He handed over the keys and slowly got out of the building off into a cab. My friend texted Jenna on Instagram telling her everything, along with a picture of me and him and a small video of him packing. Initially, she said she was shocked he could do that to her and me. They never broke up and they are engaged to be married. She loves him dearly. We told her that he had been intimate with me and sent her screenshots of my conversation with him asking me to marry him and telling me he loves me. We also sent her my number. She seemed to believe whatever he told her in the moment there. That yes, him and I had been sleeping in the same bed but didn't have sex. She said to my friend it doesn't matter. She's sorry, goodbye. I think she was too overwhelmed. I think this story is a bizarre. I have so many questions. I couldn't make sense of any things. Here are the questions. I don't know if anyone would like to address them. Why was he on dating and matrimonial apps telling lies about having broken up with Jenna from day one, a month into proposing her? Why did he proactively push to date me, move in with me, and made plans about marrying me while being engaged to this woman? It would have been easier to sneak around if he lived separately. Even if he was having second thoughts about marrying her, why did he lie profusely to me became the best boyfriend rather than being straight? I had told him consistently that absolute worst thing he could do to me is cheat on me. Why did he leave accidentally, her cards and letters only slightly hidden? He could have taken them with him. His mailing address is my address. His stuff is all over my house. Did he think he could just get me broke up with him and get away with it? Why would he get into a long distance relationship with me while already being in a long distance relationship with her? How could he say he loved the both of us at the same time, like morally, but also it's so much work and effort with no sex? Is he a psychopath with no emotions? I have a hard time believing it because his messages used to be so sweet and convincing and detailed. He had supposedly told his best friend about me. He kept telling me how I was a catch, genuinely expressive about his vulnerabilities, hopes, and dreams and future with me. He would get offended about things, even almost broke up with me when I asked something about his religion, and kept saying he doesn't need this line of questioning. I had to assure him that I don't mean any judgment and I genuinely love him the way he is. He would get kind of jealous when I'd talk about guys my parents try to set me up with, constantly telling me I'm settling for him. Is it possible that he had second thoughts about Jenna because he liked me so much and was planning to break up with her after a while? I don't know what their relationship was like other than from her cards where it seemed loving and committed from her end. Should I contact Jenna again to tell how much of a liar he is, in case she didn't get it before? She seemed to be very shocked and probably a bit blinded by his affection and proposal. Why did I get inserted into someone else's perfect fairy tale love story for no reason? At the end of it, they still get to bed with each other, although he definitely has doubts about marrying her, and once a cheater, always a cheater. Indeed, what have I done to deserve this? My only fault was to have placed my trust in a stranger and the internet. Thankfully, I was vigilant enough to not tell him or give him too much except for my house for a week and a few sexual encounters. No nudes, nothing. Thankfully, I had doubts that my parents wouldn't approve of him, and so I wasn't 100% in the relationship. Thankfully, I have wonderful friends who looked out for me and family who is there for me. I feel for Jenna though.